crisis. Nandy furiously attacked the Conservative government ignoring the issue of Afghanistan. Shadow Foreign Secretary Lisa Nandy furiously attacked the Conservative government for ignoring the issue of Afghanistan, but it was soon pointed out to her by a Tory backbencher that she too was guilty of not discussing the topic at the dispatch box. Lisa Nandy attacked Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab and claimed the only time he had discussed Afghanistan was during the government's decision to cut foreign aid from 0.7% of GDP to 0.5% earlier this year. Ms. Nandy said the government were repeatedly warned about the issues in Afghanistan spiraling out of control during the US and UK withdrawal from the region. But Tory backbencher Alicia Kearns quickly pointed out Ms. Nandy's attacks were moot as she questioned whether the Shadow Minister herself had discussed the issue of Afghanistan at the dispatch box. Speaking during the House of Commons debate on Afghanistan, Ms. Nandy said, "Where is the message from the United Kingdom that Afghans are not alone? When the Prime Minister took office 2 years ago we led the world in development assistance. But even now, after the Taliban have taken control, there is no urgency or seriousness about the humanitarian crisis that confronts us. Can we be honest? It is not honest to claim to be doubling aid to Afghanistan when just a few months ago it was cut in half. Dominic Raab should remember it, Mr. Speaker. The only statement he's ever made to this House on Afghanistan was when he came to tell us that he was cutting the aid budget. Tory big hitters including Theresa May and veteran Tobias Ellwood turned the screw on their leader, who was forced to fend off a swell of criticism. Mr. Johnson opened 8 hours of debate with a tribute to the 150,000 British troops who fought in Afghanistan during the 20-year conflict. He insisted the mission had been a success and that loved ones of fallen troops should be deeply proud of their achievements. But he said Britain must now accept the country was in the grip of the Taliban and should focus on holding the militants to their commitments. The PM said, "We have agreed that it would be a mistake for any country to recognize any new regime in Kabul prematurely, or bilaterally. Instead, those countries that care about Afghanistan's future should work towards common conditions about the conduct of the new regime before deciding together whether to recognize it, and on what terms." Ms. Nandy then gave way to Alicia Kearns, who questioned the Shadow Foreign Secretary's own record on Afghanistan. Ms. Kearns stated, "You raise the point of how many times the Prime Minister spoke of Afghanistan in the chamber. Apologies. Can she please remind us how many times she has ever said the word Afghanistan in this place since she came to the front bench?" Ms. Nandy was caught off guard and said, "I'm glad she raises this point, Mr. Speaker, because it is a sign of a government that is increasingly desperate that they launched these sort of desperate attacks. Let me tell her what we have been doing in recent months. In April, my colleague, the member for Wentworth and Dearne, John Healey, told the Defense Secretary with the full withdrawal of NATO troops, it is hard to see a future without bloodier conflict, wider Taliban control and greater jeopardy for those Afghans who work with the West. And for women in political traditional academic and business roles." Ms. Nandy did not give a straight answer for Ms. Kearns' question but said the Labour Party had repeatedly warned the government that issues with Afghanistan would arise after military withdrawal. The Conservative Party dealt with a backbench rebellion after ministers chose to reduce the UK foreign aid budget in light of the economic impact of the pandemic. Mr. Raab defended the decision, stating the UK is still contributing a lot more to foreign aid than other Western nations. He told, "What I'd say in relation to public health, we are still putting £1.3 billion into global public health initiatives next year. Over 5 years it will be £1.6 billion into the Global Vaccine Alliance." Mr. Raab also revealed foreign aid spending in Afghanistan could increase by 10%, despite millions already being cut from the budget. Despite millions